പർവ്വതങ്ങൾ കടന്നു. ഹിമവാന്റെ അരക്കെട്ട് വിയർത്തിരുന്നു. പ്രതീക്ഷിച്ചതുപോലെ അല്ല ഞാൻ മരിച്ചത്. എൻ്റെ വീടിനു മുന്നിൽ അസംഖ്യം ചെരുപ്പുകൾ, ജീവിതം പഠിക്കാൻ എത്തിയവരുടേത്. The English version. Tutorial. One mammoth bull ravaged my opulent bedroom, striped and trampled the featherbed, smashed the heart. One massive yellow leopard, sharp claws stretched, cannot reach where his own torso meeting his neck. Feeling secure, blithe, I traveled. Lying on his back, I crossed mountains euphoric. The groin of Himalaya, perspiring, luring. I died unpredictably, startled. Now I see shoes countless waiting at my gate, seeking guidance on life and living. The second one. ഒക്കെ ഇത്ര മതി. ഇന്നലെ സായാഹ്നത്തിൽ വീട്ടിൽ മടങ്ങിയെത്തവേ മറ്റാരോ അതിൽ വസിക്കുന്നതായി കണ്ടു. മേഘം ആകാശത്ത് പൂച്ചക്കുട്ടിയെ പോലെ ചുരുണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നു, കണ്ട ഭാവമില്ല. മുരിങ്ങ മരം ഇല പൊഴിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരുന്നു, തിരിച്ചറിഞ്ഞില്ല. പടിക്കൽ ഒരു അതിഥിയെപ്പോലെ നിന്നുകൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു, പുറത്തു വരൂ വീട്ടുകാരാ, നമുക്ക് സംസാരിക്കേണ്ടിയിരിക്കുന്നു. വീടിനുള്ളിലെ അനക്കം നിലച്ചില്ല, ആരും സ്വീകരിച്ചില്ല. ഭയവും ഉത്കണ്ഠയും അനാഥത്വവും ചുരുണ്ട വാലുകൾ അനക്കിക്കൊണ്ടിരുന്നു. പ്രത്യാശ ഉള്ളിൽ പിന്നെയും പെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരുന്നു. വീട് അനങ്ങിക്കൊണ്ടിരുന്നു. വീട്ടുകാരാ, ഞാൻ വീണ്ടും വിളിച്ചു. രാവിലെ ഞാൻ തുടച്ചു മിനുക്കിയിട്ട കുളിർനിലം ചവിട്ടി പുറത്തേക്ക് വരിക. ഇങ്ങനെ തന്നെ ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞിരിക്കാം, പിന്നെയും കാത്തുനിന്നിരിക്കാം. എപ്പോഴോ മനസ്സിറങ്ങിപ്പോയി. മേഘം എഴുന്നേറ്റുപോയി, മുരിങ്ങ നഗ്നമായി. വീടിനു പുറത്ത് വീട്ടുകാരന് പാകമാകാത്ത പാതുകങ്ങൾ ഊരിവെച്ച് ഞാൻ മടങ്ങിപ്പോയി.
Thank you, Sridevi. Like the beginning of your poem, A Sharp Knife, it was static, electric. Our next poet is Chandra Mohan S., an Indian English poet who engages in political poetry. And he will be reading 2 poems of his in the English language.
I hail from this place. My name is Chandra Mohan. I hail from this place itself, but I was educated in the English medium, so originally I write only in English. So my poems are like social commentaries. They're like protest statements against ongoing injustices in our society. A lot of inequalities, exploitation, etc. So the first poem derives its origin from there was a gang rape of a girl in Delhi in 2012 December, and there was a lot of protests, a huge protests in Delhi, life coming to a standstill for almost a week, etc. So there was a huge issue of marital rape being brought out by various writers, activists, etc. So they were trying to bring out that there are rapes happening within Indian families. So we need to talk about them too. And in a way, I draw inspiration from the poetry of Berry Hart, who writes from a socially engaging perspective. So this is my poem, and in my poetry, I draw metaphors. I use metaphors from mythology and use them in an unconventional way. That is, such an interpretation would never have been given before. So the very first poem is The Marital Rape of Draupadi. So Draupadi is a character in Mahabharata who had 5 husbands. So it was there's a huge story, a big story behind it. But then I look at this from from this perspective. So it is this: the marital rape of Draupadi. Chained to a wedlock with 5 keys, forced upon every time each of her husbands comes and leaves. Chained to a wedlock with 5 keys, each forced upon every time each of her husband comes and leaves. She resists and then yields later, like the earth. She resists and then yields later, like the earth. One day she will testify before the National Commission for Women. one day she will testify before the National Commission for Women. So that's my first poem. Okay. So the next poem is about women of color. It's about indirectly satire against obsession with fairness. The entire society wants to look fair. Darker people or darker women in generally do not find their photos, their pictures in covers of various glossy magazines. So it's basically about that. Okay. Now I borrow lines. Okay, so this is this. So it's called the autobiography of Hidimbi. Now Hidimbi is a character in Mahabharata. She was a wife of Bhima, and she's a very marginalized character. We don't hear about her, after the arrival of Draupadi. Okay, so the poem goes like this: Autobiography of Hidimbi. The tribal is out of my poem, laments the English poet E.V. Ramakrishnan. The tribal is out of my poem, laments the English poet E.V. Ramakrishnan. After reading Chinua Achebe, Chimamanda Adichie realized that people like her, girls with skin the color of chocolate, whose kinky hair could not form ponytails, could also exist in literature. So this Chimamanda is a young African writer, and Chinua Achebe is like a very reputed literary giant. Okay. Now this poem, the line is like this: After reading Chinua Achebe, Chimamanda Adichie realized that people like her, girls with skin the color of chocolate, whose kinky hair could not form ponytails, could also exist in literature. Hope, after reading this poem, Hidimbi contemplates on her autobiography without bleaching her self-portraits. Hope, after reading this poem, Hidimbi contemplates on her autobiography without bleaching her self-portraits. That's all. The next poem is, totally I'll be reading 7 poems. Like the third poem is on a gruesome caste system in India. India has something called a caste system, very similar to racial discrimination in the Western Hemisphere. Okay, so earlier, in yesterday's reading, poet S. Joseph had mentioned some of these issues. Okay, so I derive inspiration from him and I write this poem. So this poem draws a metaphor from the mythology, a character by name Shambhuka, who was actually beheaded for trying to learn the Vedas. Okay, so he was trying to meditate and learn the secrets of Indian religion or something, and he was beheaded because it was not by birth he didn't have the right to do so. Okay, this is similar to the African American experiences of the people of color. Their eyes dug out to prevent them from learning. Okay, so the poem goes like this: Killing of the Shambhukas. And also I borrowed this phrase, Jim Crow. Jim Crow is like a term used for segregation in America. Like it's a name of a law that is used for segregating people of color from the Caucasians. Now, Jim Crow segregated hostel rooms. Ceiling fans bear a strange fruit. Jim Crow segregated hostel rooms. Ceiling fans bear a strange fruit. Blood on the books and blood on the papers. Blood on the books, blood on the papers. Black body swinging in mute silence. Black body swinging in mute silence. Strange fruit hanging from tridents. Strange fruit hanging from tridents.
Chandra Mohan, this was inspiring. Our last performer is one of the one of the members of staff, and with no disrespect to other members, whether they have a high order or a low rank, she is really the glue that keeps this festival together and goes unnoticed. Besides being multi-talented, she is also a prosperous poetess. Miss Edina Barna.
I translated to Hungarian to show you my language. Séta az éjszakában. A mai 5 perces magány kezét zsebre dugva sétált az üres utcán. Halkan fütyürészett, és rágyújtott egy cigarettára. Amikor kifújta az első füstöt, hirtelen a fullasztó csendből csecsemős írás hallatszott a közeli kapuajban. De onnan csak egy tigris csíkos kandúr ugrott elő, feldöntve a fémkukákat, ami hatalmas robajjal gurult végig a kockaköveken, mint egy zakatoló vonat. Múlt éjjel egy kókuszillatú naptejárnyék követett. Csak 2 másodpercen volt végigmérni őt, és amikor visszanéztem, ezt láttam. Vaníliasárga púderes arc, acélos mandulavágású szemek, vállára vetett békazöld kiskabát és nyitott kacicabogárpettyes esernyő. Hello, csak kérdezni akarok valamit, mondta. De ekkor egy Pepita taxi gurult el mellettünk, és beterített minket szivárványolajos pocsolyavízzel. Ő odafordította esernyőjét maga és a taxi közé, de túl késő volt, és amikor elérte az első csepp, ő köddé vált. Ez a megfoghatatlan színorgia kompozíció széthullott, azóta a latte színű esőkabátom olyan, mint egy absztrakt festmény. Megígértem neked, hogy megmutatom a háztetőket, amik akkor megmentettek. Vártam rád, de te nem jöttél, hát elindultam az ismeretlenbe, csak a kapu nevét tudtam, 3 betűt, semmi mást. De oda mentem, mert meg akartalak találni téged, hogy beteljesítsem az ígéretemet, és megmutassam a háztetőimet neked. Most már tudom, akkor ez lehetetlen küldetés volt. Nem jött válasz a telefonhívásra, és senki sem emlékezett a névre. De megkértem az őröket, engedjenek be, hogy megtalálhassalak a város elzárt részén. Én találkozni akartam veled az utolsó könnyű lélekórámon, és vártam rád az utolsó pillanatig. De aztán el kellett hagynom a körülzárt várost, hogy megtegyem a kötelességemet, amiről te is tudtad, hogy meg kell tennem. A háztetők azóta is várnak, mert ők is be akarják teljesíteni a kötelességüket. Megmutatni a szabadságot, a szabad madarak szárnyalását, megtisztítani az elmédet és szabad levegőt adni neked, hogy te is tudd, mit jelent megölelni a lágy szellőt, kortyolni a lágy esőből, hallgatni a háztetőkertész dalát, meglesni a boltos titkos reggeliét, és táncolni szabadon, együtt, ott. Thank you.
Actually, I want to introduce my staff because they are not staff, they are poets. They are not working for money, they are working for the poetry. Edina, come. Clap for her, this girl, young girl. She is here from Hungary. All the way she came to support Kritya. She is working for Kritya for 3 months. And she has made event pages. Richard was following it. Barry also followed those. Do you remember this event page of such a beautiful this poster she made out of book, the poetry. She is very creative. She is actually artist, creative artist, web designer, and the poet, and very beautiful human being. She came all the way from Hungary to help Kritya. I cannot say how grateful I am to this young girl. Then Ekam Manoke. Come. Come stand here. He is a singer, poet, Punjabi language young poet. He comes, for 2 years he is coming to Kritya without anything in exchange, comes, help like anyone from top to bottom. Anything you ask, he will do. Even he can make tea for me sometimes. So He's a wonderful boy, wonderful poet, and they are here for poetry. Savitri Rajivan, please come. She's translator, the best translator I found in Kritya. When I was listening the poetry in different languages, especially Kashtan poetry, especially the Netherlands poetry, the way she brought in Malayalam, it was amazing. I could not enjoy all the poetry because of my other management problems. But whatever I listen, I find that in her translation, the poetry was blossoming. She gives the real essence in her own language. When she translates, it looks as if it is Malayalam poetry. It didn't look as it is Netherlands poetry or it has been translated. She is working quietly behind the screen. No communication between us except I sent her poetry. She said, I have done this. That's all. We were communicating only this much. She is one of the biggest women poet in Kerala of this generation. Savitri Rajivan. Aditya. This young boy, he's, I think, engineer, but yeah, he's an engineer, and he was helping me in web designing, and he's a wonderful poet. I think in Hindi, I find his poetry one of the best poetry in this generation, because he writes something very different. He's a very quiet boy. He came all the way from Delhi to support Kritya, spending his own money on tickets and all. And this is quietly helping. This is also our team. Now Sitesh ji, he's sleeping, I think. I know I don't ask him to come because it is, you know the Sitesh ji. You know all of you. Richard, do you know Sitesh Das, who is looking after you in hotel? He's a colonel. What is commander? Commander? Commander-in-chief, army chief. He's such a poetic heart. He's such a poetic heart, I have not seen anywhere. He does not expect anything from us, he gives us. I'm not well, I was not well for 3 months, I had an operation. After surgery, I had there's so many complications. And then Sitesh Das wrote me, because you are not doing good, I will come and help you. And I will look after international guests, don't worry. And he came on 13th so that he will take care of you people. And though it is not his job. Other friends from outside like Sajita Shankar, like Naval Tambisa, like Shanta Ram, they are all supporters and they are helping here and there. I must thank to my husband who is helping in accounting, who is sitting quietly in the back. He's not communicating. He's a scientist. He does not like poetry at all. He does not read my poetry. He will not come. He retired as a group. He's a rocket scientist. He's an aeronautical engineer with 3 degrees, great degrees. He's a great scholar in his own subject. He likes aeronautics. He hates poetry, but he loves his wife. That is why he's helping me. And he took leave. He's now HOD in a university after retirement. He never does this clerical job, but he is doing all this, making bills and doing and all, sitting quietly, reading and working his paper so that he cannot be disturbed by poetry at all. So this is our very small team. Then two people join us who are not poets, who help us in a different way. Manu Mohan, please come. Manu. Manu Mohan and Suresh. I will tell you the story of Suresh. When I had an accident, I fell on the road. I was not able to get up. Then this boy, Suresh, he came. He made me stood. He took me to hospital. He stayed with me till night. Then until my husband's friend reached to hospital. And then he keep on communicating. He used to call me Amma. And they said that whenever you need my help, you tell me. And that is Manu Mohan, he's an engineer. And so you know that they are engineers, they are great people, and they are doing all type of job. That's what Kritya does. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Now, because I suddenly feel that house is empty, the spark is going on, maybe we are disturbing that now, tomorrow onward we will live without poetry, something, some sadness. So I asked Berry Hart, why don't you bring